I'm Lady Juniper, and today you will be joining me in the cat's tail as I will do my best to tell you how to get started in Genius Invocation TCG. Now, I'm sure a lot of Genshin players may not be very familiar with trading card games, but I have played a lot of Magic the Gathering, Slay the Spire. I used to play the Pokemon trading card game on the old Game Boy game. So I'm quite familiar with trading card games. I've played Genius Invocation a little bit, not too much. And I think it's very fun. It's a really good card game if you're into card games. But if you're not into card games and you just want to get the primos, or you want to get into the card game and you don't know where to get started, I want to give you some beginners tips where to get started. Do not go watch the meta videos on the best cards or anything. This is how to get started in Genius Invocation TCG and how to build your first deck. I've done the quest on my Bose account, so I can show you what you need to do. So to get started, you need to talk to Prince here. He will give you rewards when you've done the quest. You want these coins, and he gives you access to the shop with all these cards. Now there are a lot of cards, as you can see. Like the dynamic skins are just to be pretty. These again are unnecessary to get started with. These are where you need to focus. And you're probably asking, what do I need to buy? How do I want to get started? Well, first thing you want to do to get started is look in your deck box in your inventory and look at your deck. You can choose whatever character you want to start with, but I will say when you're selecting your characters, when you've got some more cards, keep in mind their equipment. Now, the starting deck, they have given you pretty much everything you need to get started. They've been very generous, but in their generosity, they've kind of given us a kind of terrible deck. And I just want to explain to you why this is a bad deck. It's a bad deck because it has cards in it that you do not want. So when you want to get started in the card game, you're going to want to come in here and you're going to want to get rid of cards you do not want in your deck. And you can only get rid of cards if you have cards to replace them. So as you see, I've got no bonus cards. I haven't bought any extra cards. But cards you're going to want to get rid of. So we're keeping the line of Diluc, Kea, and Cercros. You want to be getting rid of the bows, the spears, the elements that don't correspond to them, like this card, the Electro card, the Geo card, the Dendro card. These cards are useless in your deck unless you have the corresponding character. You want to get these cards out of your deck ASAP. You want to buy cards to replace them with. And you will go, when you follow the quest markers for TCG, you will get a bunch of free cards, but you don't necessarily want all those free cards in your deck. Other cards you might want to get rid of at your starting deck are cards like this. Shift one artifact equipment card to another character. Now, these characters are different elements. It means they want different artifacts. Like shifting a cryo dice artifact to Cercros is useless. So you're going to want to get rid of this card from your deck. You're going to want to get rid of Giles here. He moves equipment across. But our three characters use very different equipment. So again, Child's card is useless. If you make a deck with 2 sword users or 2 claymore users, then this card may be useful. But starting off, no, this is not a very useful card for you. I personally think Star Signs is a really bad card, and to just bin it 2 dice for 1 energy, not good. When you have this one for 1 energy that shifts 2 energy, I just don't think this is worth it cost-wise. It's up to you. Another card I don't think's worth it is this one. It's a cleansing card. It will cleanse the field of all summons. I guess might be good if you're playing against a opponent who has lots of summons, but it costs 4 energy, and I personally do not think a card that expensive is worth it in your starter deck. This is a card you put in a deck specifically built to deal with summons, which you might want. I don't know how likely that is. Cards that you might want doubles of. Strategize is a good card. I personally love Leave It to Me and Changing Shifts for a quick swap kind of deck, but I think it's best that you work out what works for you in a card game. Like, work out your style of how you want to play the game. The best way to play this game is to try and be as energy efficient as possible, because everything costs energy and you want to use energy to do important stuff. So cards that save you energy are really important for your deck. I just wanted to talk about the starting deck, just to give you an idea what you need to do. This is what the starting deck looks like. This is what I think you should remove from it. Once you've got some different characters like official or whatever, you can swap in different artifacts and stuff. But for your starting deck, if you've got these 3 characters, cleanse it of the stuff you do not need. You do not need a spear in this deck. You do not need a bow in this deck. Throw them in the bin, replace them with cards you want. It'll probably take a few dueling sessions to do that. But yeah, that's what you don't want in your deck. Okay, I've switched to my other account where I have been dueling quite a bit. I'll just show you my deck. I've kept with the cards they give you. I've earned a Yaka. I don't know which characters you want yet. I personally think the Luke and Kaya are fine. I'm not sure about Circros. She can be a bit situational, I think. So as you can see in my deck, I have 1 standard equipment and 1 special equipment. So why these ones cost like 3 energy, I think their special abilities are very worthwhile getting. I'm actually not sure if I do want this in my deck. I have to play with it a bit to work that out. I have special cards. I think Wagner's quite good. You'll get Ellen quite early. I feel like Ellen's a very situational card, and I feel like with the way the game plays, she's not necessarily very good, because you only get the discount once, and it's only when you use a skill that you've used before. So you need to be able to use an attack twice to benefit from Ellen. I just don't think that's very cost effective. Like, Wagner's good, Timius is good, because they will save you energy, and saving energy is important. So the Best Travel Companion is quite a good card. You'll see people say this is like these cards, the Paimon cards are really good. I think they're very situational. It really depends. I've also removed Quick Knit, just because I honestly don't think a +1 to your summon's duration is that good. That's just my opinion. But I've kept in the Summon Destroyer. I do want to talk about Strategize, because you're going to have people say that it's like, I think it's Pot of Greed from Yu-Gi-Oh! It's not really, because in my experience, most of these games take about 5 rounds to complete if you're really good at it, probably less if you're very good at it. So you draw 2 cards per round. So on average, you're drawing like 10 cards per game, more if the game goes on longer. So what Strategize will give you, if you have 2 in your deck, is an extra 4 cards to do stuff, which can be good. Having more cards in your hand is good, but at the same time, it's not like Magic, or I don't know if you do it at Yu-Gi-Oh, where you want to mill your deck for the best cards. I mean, you sort of do, because the best way to build a deck is to ensure that you will always draw the cards you want. Now, we're sort of limited with a 30 card deck where you can only have 2 of each card, but you can still optimize your deck. Like, you don't necessarily want 2 of every card you have. Like, I don't think there's much point having 2 of the specialized cards in, because I don't find that much trouble drawing them. It's only a 30 card deck. And they cost, like, Kaya's cost 4 mana to do, which is very expensive. It costs less if you have the artifact on him, so that's good at least. Yeah, you kind of want to build your deck around pulling cards you want, but you don't necessarily need doubles of all cards. Like, you don't need 2 Wagners. I don't know if he stacks. I don't know if you can get 2 Wagners or 2 Timmies. You can probably get 2 Timmies. I've seen people say Paimon is really good. I personally do not think this is a great card, and I'll tell you why I don't think it's a great card. It's because it costs 3 mana for a 4 mana return over the next 2 turns, which it's 3 mana is a lot. I could do a lot else with 3 mana in a turn. Like, I can use that because it's free standard mana you already have. I could use that 3 mana to play a different card. I could use that 3 mana to put out not that one, to put out Wolf's Gravestone. Like, I feel like Paimon here is very situational. Like, it might work out with Paimon and the Bestest Travel Companion, but I have next to never played this card, and I've seen people talk on Twitter about how good it is. I don't think it's that good. I don't think a 3 mana cost for 2 mana over 2 rounds, it'll buff you those next 2 rounds. I mean, I guess it's good if you have nothing good in your hand, but you need to be building your deck so every time you draw something, it's something good. And if you're always drawing a good card, Paimon is not that good, because you want to be using your 3 elemental energy for something else. I didn't notice they have story section. But yeah, I would just want to give a little demonstration. I'm standing by this guy because he gives the Jade Chamber, which I've seen people raving on about. We're going to do his adventure challenge so we can get the Jade Chamber. Okay, so let's just have a look at this hand that I've drawn. I don't want Zhao. I don't know if he has summons, but I don't want to be spending 4 energy to cast this card. It can go away and potentially give me a better card. This is a good start. I'm not sure if you want both of these in your deck. We're going to go with Kaya because we have more cards that benefit him. I feel like the dice roll here should happen before any other actions. I'm of the mind to roll these 3, and I'll explain why. You need energy to use your cards. So these 2 Hydro I can use to use one of those material cards which cost 2 mana. It's just better. So there, look, we've got 3 and 2, so that means I can put Sakrag on Zerkros, or I can use this one. Yeah, let's equip this one to Kaya. Bosh, 2 energy, done. I don't think you can equip 2 artifacts to a character. Oh, I don't know how effective Kaya's going to be against this guy. Let's go. Yeah, Jade Chamber, very good. So next round, we'll be getting 3 cryo dice, I think. But we get... That's pretty good. Okay. So what we can do with this is we can put Sakrag on Zekros. We can use Tactics to see if we get anything good in our next 2 cards. So that's quite good. We could actually equip that onto Kaya. So he does. Oh yeah. Is it because he got? Yeah, he's got a shield. I've not fought one of these before. I've done wrong. I should have done what I was gonna do, which is swap. But it's end turn. It's okay. See, a card like the Jade Chamber, I think, screws you a little bit in that it incentivizes you to keep your card on the field, which you don't necessarily want. No. Oh, we went so close. This. Oh, tragic. Yeah, I should have swapped him, but I didn't realize. Good roll. Okay. Yep. So Circle. I have mixed feelings about swirl damage, honestly. Should any do that? Yeah. So I personally think sacrificial fragments and any of the energy generating weapons are really good because it gives you more dice, which gives you more actions. We'll use Paimon so we can move again. Will that work? No. But now he doesn't have shield. Oh, I missed an opportunity there. Oh, wait. Yes. Swap to Luke. I love the quick swap cards because, well, because it gives you more freedom what you're going to do with your deck. Because having good movement in your deck, I think, is really handy. Like, what I should have done on Kaya's turn is I should have used the swap, or swap at the end of his turn, attack it, do no damage, and swap automatically to Circus. That way Kaya would not have died, and then on Circus, then I wouldn't have had to waste time. But yeah, there's lots of interesting strategies you can do. People are still trying to find out what the best cards are. I think there's a lot of experimentation to be had with the characters and the cards, and there are definitely cards which are not good. And I think when you're going to be building your deck, you need to think about how you're playing your deck. Like I said, high cost cards, well, cards like Star Signs that just give you 1 energy for 2 mana, I don't think that's worthwhile, because you can attack twice in a turn and have enough energy by your next round to do your special maneuver. I don't think this is a good card. I think cards like Master of Weaponry and Blessing of Divine Relics is situational cards for when you have characters of the same type or element on the field. Otherwise they're not very good, but they don't cost mana, but they do take up room in your deck. I've seen Jeff say minty meat rolls are good. I'm not convinced. Like, I could see the potential. Like, if you got, like, for example, if you had, say, on Diluc, the gravestone weapon, this. Yep. So if you had the wolf gravestone on Diluc, for example, and you got, like, 4 pyro and the rest are miscellaneous, what you could do is you could feed Diluc the minty meat rolls and then do standard attacks on the enemy, and then what Wolf's Gravestone will do is do extra damage. So in, like, I don't know, 3 hits, the enemy is dead because you're doing such a lot of damage. Because because standard gives +1 damage. Your standard attack does 2 damage. Your D-Luke will be doing 3 damage. So the person has 10 health. You go down to like 7 health on the first attack. Second attack, they go down to 5, and then your third attack kills them. So you could kill an enemy on 10 health on a single round if you had Wolf's Gravestone and minty meat rolls on a Claymore character, for example of item combos. So yeah, on that perspective, your Jeff is correct. This is a really good card, but I think it's only a really good card if you have cards that back it up, like the Wolf's Gravestone, which already needs to be out on the field. And be able to cast your Wolf's Gravestone, something like Paimon, is pretty useless, because you could have put out that Gravestone instead of cast Paimon. And I know you'll be like, but if I cast Paimon, I might have the energy for when I draw Wolf's Gravestone. No, you won't, because you have, like, I guess, say the combat, you have a 1 in 30 chance of drawing the Wolf's Gravestone. And if you have 2 in your deck, that's a 2 in 30 chance of drawing the Wolf's Gravestone. For a combination of the minty meats, which you only have 1 of. So think about that, guys. Think about it. Like, it's a good combo. It's only good if you draw it together. And are you going to waste 4 cards in your deck for a combo you're only going to get 4 out of 30 times? Less than that, because you have to draw them together. And you'd be like, that's where Tactician comes in. It's only 4 cards. It's only 4 cards. So just keep that in mind. Keep in mind the costs, what they're doing for you. There are potentially a lot of combos out there. I haven't unlocked all the cards yet, but I can see the potential. This is a very fun game. I enjoy it. I have played it so much I forgot to do the Archon quest. Which is fine. But yeah, I can see a potential for a lot of fun games in this, and they probably will need to rebalance the cards. I think, as far as I can tell so far, they're fairly balanced, but I did see on Twitter that OK Code had done like 43 damage somehow with a combination of D-Luke, Bennett and Mona. I'm not sure how, because I don't have the cards. But yeah, I imagine there's some very crazy things you can do. One last thing I'm going to talk about is turns. Now, the best thing about having cards that save you energy is that you have more energy to use, but that also means your turn goes on longer, which means you're more likely to go second every turn, which I personally don't think is necessarily a bad thing. But it is something to keep in mind, the way initiative works. Like, I don't think it's too bad when you're against the NPCs, but when we start doing matches against other players, it is going to start mattering a bit more, because they can be a bit more dynamic about the advantage initiative gives. But I honestly don't think it matters that much when you're playing against the NPCs. Unless you've got a very fast NPC. I don't know, I've not played against that many. I've played against a few, I've got quite a few cards. Anything else? I don't think so. If you have any questions, do post them below. Like I said, I do have some experience with card games. I used to play them a lot. I have a very large Magic the Gathering collection, collecting dust downstairs because I haven't played in a few years. But my husband's really into it too, and so we love talking strategies with cards and stuff, or we see new Magic the Gathering stuff online, and I imagine he'll probably like enjoy talking strategy about these two if he gets to see a bit more. Otherwise, he's not very bothered. But but yeah. Also, let me know if you would like to see more videos covering the card game. I might do a couple more in response to other videos people put up, or things I have observed from playing the game, which I want to share with people. But if you want to see like more footage of playing the game for ideas of strategies and stuff, let me know. I can do more of these. I really enjoy this card game. It's a really good card game. Honestly, they've done excellent work on this. Also, leave me a like and a subscribe. I keep forgetting to say, so don't forget to click both those things before going to view another video. And until next time, goodbye!